Welcome to Waxing the Porpoise, the podcast that dives deep into the unexplored depths of cinema and occasionally the unexplained. This week, G-Baby and the usual suspect Steve raise the flag and welcome back esteemed guest of honor, Ruth's Chris, from the Mount Molehill podcast to rap about a flick he recommended, Bad Influence from 1990, starring Spader and Rob Lowe. A film that Chris has categorized under the sub-subgenre he coined himself, disruptive stranger, which perfectly encapsulates the essence of the film, and I'm stealing the phrase effective immediately.
The penny was a gift, Todd.
Join us as we dive in, fin first, to discuss one of the most baddest-assed colloquialisms of all time. In this case for the harmonica, aka the mouth harp.
Where I come from, you don't blow no harp, you don't get no pussy.
And almost get sidetracked with future plans to cover Crossroads, starring Jami, Gertz, and Macchio. We'll also discuss the film's odd similarities to I Love You Man, and touch on G-Baby's new obnoxious tank girl Aquabats Simon Birch glasses. The porpoises, midnight companions and keen observers, ride the waves of intrigue in this tantalizing punch bowl of suspense, psychological manipulation, and moral ambiguity. Just the kind of cocktail we've come to expect here at WTP. Special note, we recorded this episode the day before the terrible news of Carl Weathers' passing, and we happened to mention him at the top of the episode by pure happenstance. Besides being just a badass motherfucker in films we've all seen 100 times, from Apollo Creed to Action Jackson to Predator to Chubbs, by all accounts, he was one of the great humans in the world. Thus, from this point forth, he should be posthumously recognized as one of our patron saints, so pour one out. Rest in peace, Chubbs. Good night, sweet prince.
We've only just begun to live.
Let's wax this disruptive porpoise.
Chase, don't do that.
See, we working on his brow chakra. We're just in back of the crown chakra.
Yeah, I was singing it after it happened, but as we're talking now, I can't remember it at all.
Yeah, I can't remember how it goes.
Yeah, I can't either. I had it queued up here.
It was really repetitive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember not liking it.
That's right. I want to take you down.
Still not ringing any bells.
He says I want to take you down in the chorus like 55 times. Each chorus.
There it is.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't help.
All right, welcome to Waxing the Porpoise, a podcast where we dive deep into the dark and uncharted waters of film, high strangeness, and everything in between. This evening marks episode 87, where we'll be discussing a film recommended by our special guest joining us tonight, one that neither Steve nor myself has seen before. It is 1990's Bad Influence, starring Spader and Rob Lowe. Before we raise the flag, you are welcomed by myself, Jim G-Baby.
Barbecue, huh? How do you like your ribs?
And of course, joining me on this cinematic odyssey is our co-host, the usual suspect, Steve.
You learned martial arts!
How's it going, man?
Doing great. I couldn't hear what yours was at all.
Mine, yeah. The audio was a little funky. I'm not good enough to like accent like spoken word, so it kind of got drowned out. So, oh well. And as I alluded to earlier, please welcome back our special guest, returning champion Chris of the Mount Molehill podcast.
You don't know how magnificent U.S. prime beef can be till you've been to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
How's it going, man?
Good. I couldn't really hear the one with that you said for yours, but it kind of sounded like James Coburn, so I'm going to go with Hard Times.
No, it was Carl Weathers in Action Jackson.
Is Charles Bronson in that?
Oh, excuse me, Carl Weathers.
Oh, yeah. You did
I say Charles Bronson?
Yeah,
you said
Carl
I have
Weathers.
him on the brain.
You said Carl Weathers, I'm sure.
Oh, I did?
I think so.
I guess I just hear Charles Bronson.
Just always thinking about him.
But yeah, they were in Death Hunt together.
I actually came across, I don't know how, I think it was looking up some background stuff on Bad Influence. I stumbled across a cute Charles Bronson story about how he was gifted something on a movie set. And
oh my God. Someone posted that in a Discord today.
Really?
About how Kurt Russell gave Charles Bronson a present and he just walked away because he had never been given a present before.
Yeah, he didn't know how to process it.
Yeah, I think I kind of call bullshit on that.
What was the present?
I don't know. Kurt Russell was like 12, so it was probably something stupid.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that clip it's at the end when Carl Weathers blows this dude away with like one of those little grenade launcher things, like that break down, and you put like one slug in it. He's like, barbecue. How do you like your ribs? Just fucking nukes this dude. All right. Any hoodles. Yeah. We're glad to have Chris back. Thanks for joining us. And I'm excited to talk about this one because I was actually pleasantly surprised. I went into it a little dubious, but I think it should make for a good pod. Oh shit. I did have, fuck it. We'll save it for the end. We had a comment on one of our YouTube videos that I thought was interesting. So we can,
I'm a 70-year-old woman with small hands.
Oh man.
That was a fun one. I need to turn that into like a soundbite and post it because that one was good. No, it's somebody, I think it's someone in Indonesia left a comment that I translated. So there's always the possibility of something being lost in translation. But
what episode was it left on?
Basic Instinct, of all films. So we'll crack that nut towards the end. But
interesting.
Bad Influence from 1990. I had never heard of this. Never seen anything about it before. Steve, I'm gonna just take it for granted.
No.
Okay. And then Chris, what's your relationship? Is this something you caught on to later in life or did you grow up with it?
I first saw this 10 months ago.
Okay.
And I know that because when I went to go watch it last night, the lady was like, "We just watched that." And the most beautiful thing about Letterboxd is how often I can prove her wrong when she says that.
That's awesome.
No, actually, we watched it in March of 2023. Thank you.
Don't lie to me!
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very bad about my letterboxing. I need to keep up with it.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just a website where you log and review movies that you've watched.
Ah, okay.
They advertise it as like social media, but there's really basically no social aspect to it almost at all.
They'd probably send me an email like, "Are you sure you watched Twister again?"
Oh shit! Here, I get one fun piece before we get into the movie, and obviously listeners won't be able to see this, but Steve, you probably noticed I got some new glasses. These aren't the same ones.
Oh yeah,
my shame. So Chris, check this out. I bought these online on a whim. These fucking joints. And my wife just immediately started roasting me. She was like, I think first thing she said was Weezer bitch. And then she took a picture of me and did a photo collage with the fucking Aquabats. When they have those like big fucking goggle things. And then she's like, "No, you're fucking Tank Girl." And then at sure shit, the cover at Tank Girl, she's like, "It's the fucking bridge, man. They look like
that
goggles.
1/8 of an inch really makes a difference." I mean, style wise, they're the same. They're just slightly thicker.
The thickness up here, they're also clear on the sides. They're very
the clear on the sides. That's why I thought they were the Simon Birch special.
Yeah, Steve hit me with Simon Birch.
Man, next time I'm on here, I'll have to wear my glasses.
Well, and they also look like the least conspicuous spy glasses with a camera right in the bridge of the nose.
Yeah.
You just need a wire running down the side into your front pocket.
So of Ghoulish Uni fame, Nate Part 2, the Natening, got me a couple good ones too. He's like, there's no way there's not a hidden camera in the bridge of your glasses. And then he sent me the shot of Emilio Estevez in Mission Impossible 1.
Oh, yeah.
Big old fucking... I was like, God damn it. So
you need to just be like, fuck you. I'm Wild Thing. These are my Wild Thing glasses.
Oh,
Dude.
Yeah. That's a good one, too.
I was thinking more Jeffrey Donovan and Sicario, but I don't know if I can pull that off. So at any rate, I was like, fuck these. I need to return them. So that was just a bit of fun in my life.
Well, it looks like you kept
the past
them.
Couple weeks. What's that?
It looks like you kept them, so.
He's got to have something to wear during pictures that he doesn't want to take.
Yeah, exactly. I should just keep them for when I want to spite my wife. But, okay. Idiotic tangent aside, bad influence. So I asked Chris if he wanted to come on again, and he recommended this. So I just caught this today. Basically, I guess if anyone's familiar with Single White Female, or I prefer Pacific Heights with Matthew Modine and Michael Keaton, it's basically like, kind of squirrely person gets linked up with someone who obsesses over them and or wants to like help them out. Obviously in this one he's got designs on James Spader, who is, I guess, the resident nerd in this film. He doesn't stand up for himself, and so he kind of gets drawn into this web and slowly becomes more out of control and realizes that he's dealing with a psychopath, and kind of comes to a head at the end. Hijinks ensue throughout. So that's kind of what we have in this film. So if you're fans of that kind of stuff, I guess I'm probably not describing it the best way.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of my favorite sub-genres of movies that I like to call disruptive stranger. So I'm big
That's so
into
much
them.
more eloquent.
Well, because it is really like a whole like micro genre of movies like this, and like fucking Mind Games with Maxwell Caulfield and Talented Mr. Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
Consenting Adults with Kevin Spacey, which in retrospect is an unfortunate name for a movie.
He's been found not guilty every time. So you guys just listed like half a dozen movies I've seen none of. This one reminded me of a mix of The Spanish Prisoner, which we just watched not too long ago, and I Love You, Man. Just like a fun half bromance, half obvious con that you're just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that, but I Love You, Man is kind of like the happy version of these sorts of movies.
Yeah, and this is a descent into psychopathy.
Yeah,
because I knew nothing about this going into it, so it has a sort of theme very early on, like, oh, this guy is a mark, this guy's going to take advantage of him. But then he starts doing like nice shit for him. I was like, he's either pulling the dentist system on him, or he actually just wants to help. So I didn't know. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting seeing Rob Lowe in this kind of role. I mean, granted, I haven't seen him in a lot of things outside of like television. And I know he had a spot. He had some trouble with
plowing underage women.
Yeah. I don't know where you guys stand on that. I heard later on that
I'm against it. That's where I stand on it.
Right. But I've come to find out I've heard later in life that he was actually like put up to it, or the mom of the daughter kind of like pushed him into it and lied about her age. So I don't know. I don't know really where I stand with Rob Lowe as a person, but the only other thing I really remember him from is fucking Wayne's World. And
Tommy
he played
Boy?
Tommy Boy too. He plays just like a shitbag, like really well, I feel like. So wasn't a drastic departure in this.
Parks and Rec, he's super annoying.
Oh, he's my fucking favorite character on that show.
God, I hate him. I was expecting to hate him in this one, but I didn't. So that was pleasant.
Yeah, we got Rob Lowe as playing the psycho. The beginning of it, I was like, what? Where is this going? I guess James Spader is some kind of like financial trader or analyst or something, buy, sell, I don't know. But he's
basically Chandler
Yeah.
from
There you
Friends,
go.
like non-specific.
a transponster.
Yeah.
I love that one where I can't remember who says it, but they're like, and you call yourself an accountant? It's like, no. It's like, oh yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, that's what, when I was watching it this time, I was like, oh, he's an accountant. And then 45 minutes into the movie, they're talking about trades. And I was like, oh, he's not an accountant, I guess.
Yeah, and he mentions a couple of times he's going up against Patterson.
Fuck Patterson.
For the senior analyst job. Yeah, Patterson sucks. This character fucking immediately like asshole. So we meet James Spader. He's in the bathroom. He's having a crisis of confidence at work. Seems like he's being sabotaged by this Patterson guy. And then he's also about to get married to Marcia Cross, who a lot of people remember from Desperate Housewives. She's been in a bunch of stuff, a lot of TV. She's got a very familiar kind of face. I think she was on Melrose Place for like fucking 9 years or something too. But yeah, it looks like an earlier role for her. And Spader's like, he's got pains. He's like 30 and he's got like ulcers from stress at work and stuff. And
I want to back up to the very first scene just to ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
So in the very first scene, it opens up with like Rob Lowe waking up next to some woman and then going through her apartment and basically gathering all evidence that he was there and destroying it.
Right.
Do you guys think
he's like
that
sifting through the pictures and he's taking ones out of him and her like playing tennis or wherever they were on the beach and shit? Yeah. He's definitely covering his tracks.
Do you think that people around our age grew up in the absolute worst time to have any sort of anonymity? Because this is 30 years ago, and like kind of a whole part of the movie is that you can just like go to the next neighborhood over and no one will know anything you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that are younger than us kind of grew up on social media. So I feel like it like cancels itself out since everyone's on it and everyone's personal life from the time they're born is going to be online. But
and there's ring cameras everywhere. Like when they're moving a body later on, I was like, this would never.
Yeah, there's so much shit that you
plausibly happen now.
Yeah, we just get the short end of the stick, I feel like, because we didn't get to do that. Like, oh yeah, I'll just go have a family in another state. No one will ever know where I was. And then we also can't just like,
I was really looking forward to abandoning you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back in the day, if you wanted to get away with anything, all you had to do was just not be seen doing it at the time and keep your mouth shut, and you're golden forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of weird. People from like 30 to 45 are kind of like this weird half in, half out, 1 foot firmly in like the analog and one in the digital realm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have experienced this in your own family, but the occasional new like half cousin or aunt or uncle that gets disclosed in their 40s probably is going to be a thing of the past with all the genealogy stuff, because I know it's happened in my family, my old lady's family, like, oh, hey, just so you know, you have a brother you didn't know about. Figured I'd tell you now before you found out on your own, but...
Before he comes knocking? I've wanted to do one of those like 23andMe, or I think there's another competitor, but I've heard some stuff about why you shouldn't. Like, I'm a little hesitant on having my DNA with some third party that promises they'll never release that information or give it to anyone else. So it does look cool, all the charts and pie charts and shit, like where like your ethnicity breakdown and where like you're supposed to have, like your ancestors are supposed to have migrated from and shit. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, haven't done that. Can't really say that I care that much.
Yeah, if we want to go on a quick little detour, What you're talking about is like Ancestry.com or 23andMe. They promise not to share your information with law enforcement or other third parties, right? But the way that law enforcement's been able to get around that is instead of going to them and asking for their information, because there are databases where you can upload your shit voluntarily, and that's where people do these family trees, whatever. Law enforcement can get into these Ancestry and 23andMe portals. So if they have a sample that they're trying to match, they'll just submit it as their sample, and then when they get the profile back, like this just happened in the Idaho quadruple stabbing. Mm-hmm. So they had a sample of DNA. They couldn't match it to anybody on file. So what it sounds like they did is they submitted it as the person, and it generated this family tree. Then they go find a family member, match it, and then they have their guy, right? But the problem with that is if the defense is like, well, how did you go from having the sample to finding our guy? You need to show your work like a math problem. Mm-hmm. The state is like, don't worry about it. All that matters is we got this DNA and we matched it to our guy. So no big deal. But yeah, so a lot of privacy concerns there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's kept me from pulling the trigger for sure. I wonder how many more things like in the future, like technology improvements, like maybe we'll get to a point where it's like fucking Minority Report. You got the precogs after you, pre-crime.
I mean, because now I know it's different in different states and jurisdictions where if you get convicted of a felony, you have to give a DNA sample. I think some places, if you get arrested for a felony, you have to give a sample. They're probably just going to start taking one at birth for everybody.
All right.
Call it a public safety concern.
Oh, please.
Okay, so then back to bad influence. Then we meet up with...
huge detour.
No, yeah. It's all good. It's all gravy. We meet Rob Lowe for the first time, who comes to... This is the knight in shining armor move where he sees Spader getting fucked with by some meathead because he's talking to his old lady at the bar. And Lowe comes in and breaks a beer bottle and fucking scares this guy away. And so, but then he disappears. I wasn't expecting that. Like normally it's like, okay, this is the entry point, like where, he starts the con, but he's playing the long con. He just fucking disappears.
What's funny too is like that he breaks a glass bottle and the guy's like, what are you going to do about it? Pretty sure he stated his intent by breaking a bottle on the bar.
Like, I don't know, probably stab you with this bottle. Yeah. I will say that does
golf course.
That does lend, because one thing I was questioning the entire time after finishing it was, what the fuck was Rob Lowe's motive this entire time? And so the fact that he didn't stick around, that might lend itself to no motive at all. Just decided to fuck with this guy when the opportunity presented itself, or not. I don't know. We can come back to that later.
Yeah, and also we skipped over the most important part, in my opinion, of the movie, which is Patterson, because before he goes to the bar is when the whole Schedule 47 thing happens.
God. Yeah, this is what begins like his taking lunch at the bar and just like this Patterson fella who's just fucking him over because he can. He's apparently hidden a report from him, which makes James Spader look real bad because they're both vying for
senior analyst.
Yeah, a highly regarded position. So this Patterson fella's playing dirty. It's like, that's so ballsy. Like, I can't imagine, like, regardless of like time, but like trying to sabotage someone else, like at that kind of a scale. It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, shit. I mean, back then they probably didn't have, as much of a digital paper trail of like this person accessed this file at this time and stuff like that.
And I'm sure their HR department was pretty light at that place too. But yeah, so Patterson screws over Spader and he's fucking feeling sorry for himself. He's got 3 ulcers. He's got like stabbing stomach pains, and he's it looks like he's not too psyched about the proposition of marriage and like all the shit that his fiance has planned. Like she's got everything planned out for like the next 15 years.
Yeah, she's a fucking weirdo.
I think the next point is we meet James Spader's brother, older brother, Pismo. What the fuck was his name? I've seen this guy too in a lot of shit.
So this is the second time I've seen this, and I was kind of thinking about it. They talk about him being like a small time weed dealer. I figured he probably just hung around Pismo Beach, like selling weed to people, and that's why his name was Pismo. But they don't explain it.
Trying to go over to my friend Pismo's house and score lid.
He looks like if you combined Ron Howard and Ron Howard's really ugly brother.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, I'm not anything to look at, but this guy is kind of unfortunate looking. Like, I don't know. He looks like he's like 70, but he's probably 25. I don't know. He's got one of those faces.
They said Spader was 25, and I was like, fuck, he looks 40.
Yeah, I think he said he's 30. She's like, you're 30 and you're having all these panic attacks.
Pretty sure it's 25.
Stress. All right.
Pretty sure.
So yeah, this brother, you know who, Big Lebowski, he was one of the
he's
cops.
the cop, the next to the dude, the black cop
Creedence
from
tapes when
Jason Goes to Hell.
They got us working in shifts.
Yeah.
You got any leads?
No, that's the other guy when his car, after his car gets impounded, or when they find his car or whatever. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna go over to the crime lab there and but yeah, it looks like he's kind of dead beating it. He's a stoner. He's asking his brother for money, and he's like, you don't respect me. They have like a weird younger brother, older brother dynamic there, which comes back. I mean, they set something there and they pay it off later, I feel like, which is fine. But I also thought he was kind of like a beat down looking Philip Seymour Hoffman a little bit.
Yeah.
He could have been off that Family Tree.
Yes.
Also want to point out
Jesse Plemons, Meth Damon.
Probably, I mean, this doesn't mean anything to you guys, but his boss is played by John Delancey who is Q in Star Trek The Next Generation.
That guy has a very familiar face too. He's definitely someone that jumped out, whereas I've seen him do character work in something else, but yeah, I was never a big Star Trek guy. So Rob Lowe, we get back into him, obviously some kind of grifter or hustler, and I guess going back to his motives, like I just took it as like he's just here for a good time. Like he doesn't really have a plan. He finds like a mark and he just kind of moves around, leeching, stealing, manipulating, and just does it again in like a endless cycle is what he's doing, I guess. That's just how I took him. But we see him, he takes money from another woman. Spader sees him at a pier, thanks him for bailing him out, and they go out for a beer, and that kind of starts their friendship off to the races. He's talking about Patterson and commiserates a little bit.
Did either of you guys recognize the bartender in that nightclub?
I recognized one bartender in like the main nightclub that they spend their time at.
Me too. I got a fun side tangent about him, but not the
his
first
most
bartender.
famous role in Street Fighter as
Balrog.
Grand
Yes.
L. Bush.
Oh yeah.
He was also in Street Fighter, the movie, the video game. He did the voicing.
Not to be confused with Street Fighter, the video game. Street Fighter, the movie, the video game.
Right. No, that's how it's pitched. That's like what
that's the
entries. It's like, dude, that's so fucking ridiculous.
Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Dude, it's like, what the fuck were they thinking, dude? So at this point, you know, Spader's talking.
This is where we learned that Rob Lowe cannot do accents of any kind.
Oh God, yeah, he's horrible.
Because I thought he was trying to do a French accent, and they're like, "Oh, he's Spanish." I was like, "Damn, that did not sound Spanish at all."
Yeah, he at the art exposition, he's going by Franco, And yeah, I was like, worst accent of all time. I was like, what's he going for? German or French? But then he says, yeah, bueno as his salutation. I'm like, I was really thrown through a loop there.
Which I don't even know if Spaniards say that. I always think of that more as a Mexican thing, like answering the phone. Bueno, like
Right.
I don't think I've ever. I mean, I haven't spent a ton of time around Spaniards, but I've spent a decent amount of time around them. I don't remember that happening.
Huh. Well, it makes sense that he's just Esperantoing his whole way through that character. But yeah, it was pretty horrible. And then, so one of the weird things was all these fucking like weird grungy ass like fucking speakeasies that they're bouncing around to that you can only decode through like through the personal ads and
dominant white female.
Yeah, and that's so that they get to the first one and that's the password to get in, and then
or no, dominant athletic woman was what it was.
Yeah. Is this the one where Grandel Bush is bartending?
Yeah, it's the main club that we find out later Rob Lowe like lives there, I guess.
Yeah, he's like living upstairs for the time being, and he's got an in with the bartender, like, so that they go to the bar and he's trying to like, you know, boost his confidence a little bit, and they see a couple chicks that are eyeballing him, and he's like, nope, you go over there, you go buy him a drink, this and that, and it's clear instantly Spader has zero game, and then Rob Lowe walks over and immediately just wingman of the century immediately takes the first gal out, so it leaves this redhead gal that he goes over and tries to talk to, but then he forgets he loses his wallet, and then he goes AWOL. He does the old Irish goodbye, and then that's when we get to our showdown with Patterson. Now that Spader's got his newfound confidence boost, because Lowe kind of coaches him up, like, you got to stand up for yourself, and like, you know, if you keep bending over like that, he's gonna, you know, assert his authority, you know, time and again, and it'll get worse, and this and that. So Spader finally bows up against him and kind of sabotages Patterson when he's in a meeting. And what's he do? He swaps out his report with like
batting champions over the last
like their
3 years or something,
batting average.
And then upon Patterson realizing this, he walks out and he sees him, where we get one of the first soundbite that I really liked.
I'm in a meeting, you swine.
You swine. Just like that delivery fucking cracked me up. So what do we think of this first challenge, I guess, for Spader using his newfound confidence and turning the tables?
He rose to the challenge and passed it with flying colors.
Yeah, so he fucking pushes it right back on Patterson. He's like, you give me my schedule 47 in the next 60 seconds, Jack, or else.
Which I thought was insane because of the level of technology we're talking about here. Like, nothing takes 60 seconds.
It would have taken him more than that just to walk to the end of the hall probably and get in the fucking elevator down. But so yeah, that kind of, you know, it's got a little wind in Spader's sails now. So he goes back to that speakeasy place where Grand is bartending to pay off his tab because he lost his wallet previously. Seeing this place in the day with the lights on, my first I was like, this looks like a fucking like Bond villain like lair. Like it had a real kind of quasi-industrial look to it. Is that just me?
I don't know. It looked pretty normal, just like a shitty club in the daytime to me.
All right.
I'm surprised he didn't remember him though. When he's like, I'm the guy that you sent the goons after that I ran from because I didn't pay for my drink.
Right.
That was a little heavy-handed of a response, I thought.
Yeah.
For all he knew, he could have been going to get some money, but immediately he's like, hey, go fucking lean on this dude.
That one fun fact about Grandel Bush too, he was in a series of pretty similar movies during the mid to late 80s, early 90s. He was in Die Hard. He was in, I thought this was interesting too, because I thought he was the same character, but I guess he's not. So he was in Lethal Weapon, the first one, and he's billed as Boyette. Comes back for Lethal Weapon 2, but he's billed as Jerry Collins. In both films, he was like a supporting detective, like on a different squad, like within Murtaugh Riggs' division. So I just thought that was kind of fun that the same actor came back for different characters in a sequel. Thought that was pretty fun. But he was also in The Exorcist 3, George C. Scott.
Oh, yes.
He was his other detective, his junior detective. He was in Demolition Man.
Maniac Cop 3, this movie Wedlock with Rutger Hauer that I've seen. It's about like, I don't know, they have put like these electronic necklaces around you and your head explodes. I don't remember what the actual plot was other than that.
That sounds wild.
It was pretty good. I mean, I guess I don't remember anything that happens in it.
I've seen a couple of Rutger Hauer's like more like B movie, like direct to DVD kind of fare. I think it's pretty good. I still have yet to see, what's that one, Surviving the Game?
Yeah, I think you guys would both like that movie.
Yeah, I think it's on my list, so we'll get to it ultimately.
Hell yeah. I've also confirmed that Spaniards do not answer the phone by saying bueno.
Okay.
Mexicans answer the phone that way because telephones were installed during the time of the Mexican Revolution. Lines were frequently cut as a result of the wars between the various factions. Bueno is indicating that there is a good connection.
Huh.
Nice.
Interesting.
Damn. This is why Chris
awesome.
is a fan favorite and a host favorite, I will say.
Yeah, you just lended a little Molehill credence to us with some actual like research and.
Well, I did look it up as we were recording, so I wouldn't really call it research.
Well, you sounded very articulate. So
it's just on the fly, good journalism there.
I completely bought that you had that ready and staged. Then they go to this weird fucking art exposition out of nowhere. That's where we get the accents. So yeah, that is kind of a stretch going with German, French, and then pulling across the sea to incorporate a little Mexican vernacular in there. And then this is where we start getting like that. What'd you call this subgenre? The disruptive stranger?
Yeah.
This is another, like, he's involved himself in Spader's life now, and then his brother comes over knocking, and also he's like, tell him I got the fear, which I was taking as like he has a panic attack or anxiety attack or something, and he's like, yeah, he's busy right now, so why don't you get the fuck out of here? Like, where they start kind of like smothering or cloistering the object of their affection at that time, and kind of creating a roadblock to all their other relationships.
I also feel like
that's kind of a common trope.
The phrase "the fear" isn't covert enough. Like, I don't know if you're trying to hide something from someone, calling it "the fear" is not. I don't know.
I completely missed the fear thing.
Oh, it's just like he said, his brother's like, go get him. He's busy. Tell him I have the fear.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's busy.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just took that because he seems a little squirrely. Like, I was just like, oh, must be his code for like he's got an anxiety attack and he needs to fucking talk to his brother. And then some of this is, I mean, pretty superfluous, but I guess Spader, it's another example of him gaining confidence and kind of cutting corners. He like does a trade or something that's not technically illegal, but it's like frowned upon, or it's just like it's not couth, I guess, in the business world, but dirty pool.
Yeah, it's like against company policy, but not illegal. So he convinces him to take a shot. So this is the second time that it's more of like an I love you man, like, hey, I'm your buddy. I'm going to encourage you to do this thing that's better for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not clear that it's nefarious just yet, but
he also gets Lisa Zane to have sex with him. Rob Lowe gets Lisa Zane to have sex with James Spader.
Did I skip that part?
Thing number 3.
Yeah, we get the other really good soundbite because we find not only did Rob Lowe hook him up with Lisa Zane, but he also went through the trouble of filming the sex act for him. To which
this is where you kind of knew, okay, this is clearly like the Jeffrey Epstein origin story of how he got so much goddamn money. Like, oh, ingratiate yourself, get blackmail, cash in.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is like, okay, yeah, this guy, I don't know if it's a jump the shark. Yeah, it probably is. Like, this guy is fucking bad news. Stay away. Cut this guy out of your life. But a really funny line is Spader wakes up to hearing, sounds like porn in the background, and Rob Lowe's on the couch watching him fucking Lisa Zane, to which he says,
"You make a very funny face when you come."
What the fuck, man? So Spader's obviously kind of freaked out, but I feel like he took it pretty well. Because he doesn't say get the fuck out until later on. Like he hasn't like had it with him until some other shit goes down. I would be at this point. I would be like, I don't know you anymore.
What is wrong with you, guy?
You're an insane
person. It is super
person.
invasive, but I feel like under this exact same set of circumstances, my reaction would probably be like James Spader. I'm just like, fucking turn that shit off and stop watching it, weirdo.
Yeah. He's like, no, it's just about to get to the good part. So that was fun. Then we get to this is the really insane fucking part. But then so the next night, it's like Spader's old lady, Marcia Krauss, his fiance, they're having like this big gala, or they're celebrating her father, who was like, I don't know what.
It was an anniversary party.
Anniversary, okay. Who I recognize that fella from LA Confidential. He played the head honcho. Did you pick him out? The dad, Dr. Fielding?
I did not.
He's only in it for a little bit in LA Confidential, but the connection to that is this director, Curtis Hanson, is who directed LA Confidential. So
I did see that. I thought that was
damn
cool.
right he did.
They were probably pals. I didn't realize even when we covered LA Confidential, I don't know if we covered this, but this director as well, Curtis Hanson, he did 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of or whatever, but it seems like a weird. Some of his
also did The River Wild, which is a big hit in this household.
Same here.
Yep. It's a banger.
River Wild.
I saw they fucking redid it. What a sacrilege! They remade it.
It was. We watched the remake and it was dumb.
Dude, even 8 Mile was pretty good. I thought it was better than what I expected.
Michael Shannon.
I've only seen bits and pieces of the main battle at the end, spaghetti, all that shit. Dude, I guess Eminem, because I live pretty close in the Northwest or in the Midwest now. I guess he has a restaurant called Mom's Spaghetti that's real popular out there. So
yeah, I've heard it sucks.
See. Does it?
I wouldn't say you're that close.
Well, it's close enough. I think it's only like a 3.5, 4-hour jaunt.
Are they just in the Detroit area?
I think he only has one, or maybe he has 2 or 3, but they are all like right in Detroit. Yeah. Which I think I plan on trying it, because we are gonna, in the springtime, we're going on like a trip to that region, and we're gonna stop into a couple of the filming locations where they filmed It Follows on an It Follows tour, and we're gonna hit Mom's Spaghetti as well.
Why?
I know both of you guys are not on my side, because I love that movie. And there's locations that you can go and check out, like the old theater at the beginning. It's a historic landmark. The place where they have fucking frozen yogurt. Jay's house.
Here's the shack on the beach.
Yeah. Here's the community college where the old woman in the fucking hospital gown crawls slowly towards her.
So is the new River Wild the same kind of story, like with the deaf mom and son?
No, it's basically just the way they do these remakes, where it's like the basic concept of like people at odds with each other having to get down a river. That's about it. Like there's no like criminals showing up and sort of like taking over. Yeah, it's like I can't remember exactly what happens. I think
that's the entire driving force of the fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Bacon is replaced by Adam Brody, which is fine because I like Adam Brody probably more than I like Kevin Bacon, to be honest.
Whoa, that's bold, Jack.
Man, that movie Sleepers traumatized me as a child.
Yeah, that one was tough.
I saw that when I was like 9, and I thought that was going to happen to me. So
yeah, he is a rough fucking hombre in that movie. That's fair. Okay. There's a couple people like that like I have nothing against them personally, like in real life, but they had like such a screen presence that I'm just like, nah, fuck this person. This director also did Wonder Boys, which I'm a pretty big fan of. Michael Douglas, Tobey Maguire's in it, Robert Downey Jr. That's a fun movie. I like it a lot. So yeah, this guy's got a weird kind of film list, but I think he also did The Hand That Rocks the Cradle too, which I saw that when I was really young, and it kind of traumatized me a little bit. Kind of scary.
Well, I saw the guy who wrote the movie also did Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, Snake Eyes, and Ghost Town, which are all fucking bangers.
It was a Phantom Punch.
Have you seen Ghost Town with Ricky Gervais?
Ghost.
No.
Is that where
it's a fun one?
Is that where he can see ghosts, or he is a ghost?
I can't remember. One of the two. It's funny though.
I don't know. For my money, I'd rather watch Heart and Souls.
Is that Robert Downey Jr. movie?
With RDJ.
Saw that in theaters.
About Down to Earth featuring Chris Rock.
Haven't heard of it.
Oh man, you boys are really missing out. This must be how you feel.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the action. Oh yeah. So we
just
get
so
this
you know,
fucking
Down to Earth is a modern remake of Heaven Can Wait, just with more sass.
Oh, okay. Hard pass. So we're back. We're back at this gala thing, this anniversary party, and then wouldn't you know it, it's like a black tie event, real fucking nice shit. And wouldn't you know it, we have Rob Lowe making an appearance. He's already buttered up the mother, and it's like fucking. I can't remember the accent in this one.
This is French,
because now he's Francois.
That's right. And I guess before this too, Spader opens up that he's like, what's your fear? And like all this shit, and he's like, I'm really afraid of getting married. And so he's like, he kind of leads him on. He's like, what it is, what do you want? Like, all this. And so he takes that as like license to wreck his engagement with his fiance, and he plays the porn tape with Lisa Zane in front of 100 socialites and very proper party. And this is going on. And of course they're fumbling with the fucking, it's like turn the TV off. They're fucking with it's rewinding back and forth.
They could put it in slow motion on accident.
It's like, Jesus Christ, come on. So this kind of starts the spiral for Spader here.
I think at this point in the movie, if I'm James Spader, still on board.
Yeah.
You're wild.
He didn't want to get married to that woman anyway.
That's true, but that's a pretty fucked up situation. But I guess,
like,
you're living in LA during this time. It's like, fuck, just.
Dude, it's like in I Love You, Man, where he gives a speech. He's like, return the favor, Because in the moment you're like, fuck, man, why would you say that? But in hindsight, you're like, yeah, I mean, that's really how I feel. So that was uncomfortable in the moment, but you're right. And then they start knocking off mom and pop shops.
Oh, God.
That would probably be where I would have to be out.
Yeah.
Me too, but in all fairness, James Spader is very drunk by that point.
Yeah.
But in the sober light of day, if you see fucking Rob Lowe telling a guy to put his mouth on a gun, I agree. That's when I would be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's where it really jumps the shark, is when like they're having their fun, and then he pulls the gun out, then they're actually committing actual crimes, and then forcing that poor fry cook to fucking chew on a fucking barrel, and his teeth are chittering on it, and the Rob Lowe does this really creepy fucking laugh and like Crazy Carl. And they fucking get out and they knock over a couple other places. He's like doing blow all of a sudden. He's like, you want a little decongestant?
Yeah, my
like,
favorite part about them robbing that burger joint is that it happens off to like the side of the frame, so you could miss it, but he does make sure to grab the hamburger before he leaves.
Oh, I missed it. I missed that part.
Good for him. Yeah, this is where we get the fun. If you want to look it up, it's Lloyd Cole. The song is Downtown. And I don't know. At first, I was like, this is fucking some cornball montage. But it kind of grew on me. And I'm still back and forth whether I hate it or I really like it. But the last 30 minutes of working, I just put it on a loop and listened to it. And I still can't remember the chorus. I'd have to play it right now. But he just talks about going downtown a lot. But the fucking harmonica in that, go back and listen to it, dude. That fucking harp is pretty awesome. And I had a fun side tangent. Have you guys ever heard the harmonica called a harp?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I can also tell by Chris's eyes that he is working on something right now.
No, I would just have the movie playing alongside, and that scene is coming up, or it's on, and I'm looking at this liquor store, and on the front window they have an advertisement for St. Ides, which I don't even think they make anymore, but was like a huge late 80s, early 90s thing.
Yeah, that was up there with like Mad Dog and Boone's Farm.
I know they made that as recent as 20 years ago, I guess. God, that seems like not that long ago, but
it'd always be right in the section where you find like that like H2 high gravity malt liquor in a can.
Old English, Colt 45, Steel Reserve.
Steely, piss in a bottle.
Yeah.
Jesus. Ugh, those are the rough days, Mickey's. But yeah, anyway, the harmonica, fun little piece of trivia. Harp is blues slang for harmonica, which is also called a comb. How fun.
Wow, that is fun.
I think I've just picked the next movie for the next time I'm on with you saying that.
I have a guess, but also last piece is down south, a harmonica is sometimes called a mouth harp or a French harp. Dude, mouth harp is pretty fucking awesome. I really like that. I'm going to try to incorporate it more.
But I feel like that's also the name of a completely separate instrument.
A harp?
No, mouth harp.
Instrument?
Like harp, definitely, but I think mouth harp is a also third instrument that's completely different from either a harp or a harmonica. It's like those things you like put in your mouth and flick it and it goes doing, 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 doing. You know what I'm talking about?
Kinda. Is that a theremin?
No, theremin is controlled completely by your hands, but not actually touching the instrument.
It's like vibration waves and shit. Were you going to suggest Crossroads for the next film? Dude, I love that fucking movie. And it reminded me of the harmonica. My favorite line from that movie is like, where I come from, you don't blow no harp, you don't get no pussy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of.
Dude, Crossroads is a fucking banger, dude. Ralph Macchio playing guitar at the Crossroads.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that's a fucking awesome movie. Jami Gertz. God, I had such a crush on her when I was young. I saw Less Than Zero at a way too young of an age, and she shows her tits in that, and that was like an awakening. So, yeah, Jami Gertz is an all-timer. So, anyway, after the last robbery, we just cut. Spader blacks out. He goes to grab a shave, and he notices a little blood on his sleeve, and his knuckles are all fucked up and scuffed up and bloody. And
it pissed me off that he was shaving.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know why it made me so mad,
bro. I can't even remember the last time I shaved. I always just on the bottom. I have a beard, and on the bottom, I just do every couple days. I'll just do electric, and I'll keep stubble. I don't give a fuck. I don't understand how people like in the 50s and 60s, they just get up and they fucking shave every morning. It's like, ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, he did not need to fucking shave. But so it turns out also he goes to work, and it appears that this Patterson fellow has been assaulted and roughed up, and that's when he's like puts two and two together. Fuck, what did we do last night? And well, I think they alluded to it too. He's like, oh yeah, we're near Patterson's house or whatever. Then it cuts to like him blacking out. But so Patterson's had a change of heart. He no longer wants to go for the senior analyst job. So it looks like Rob Lowe's done him another solid on his career trajectory. A funny line from the gal that we haven't touched on yet, the Spader's assistant, I think her name, Kathleen Wilhoit. She's another face too, that she's been in a ton of stuff. Very familiar kind of face, character actress that's been in a ton of stuff. She says, where the fuck? This crime stuff makes me want to move back to Seattle. I was like, man, that is aged poorly. That's the last fucking place you want to go now. Spader finally has had enough of Lowe. He tells him to get. And so Lowe's like, all right, I'm going to take everything you own inside of your dope ass apartment, by the way, that he's staying in. It's like fucking cathedral ceiling apartment in LA. So he comes home and it's like his whole house is just fucking gone.
Yeah, I think my favorite Rob Lowe part comes in that scene where James Spader comes back from the office and he's like asking him what happened. Yeah, and he's like, did I hit Patterson? It's like, you didn't just hit him. He beat the shit out of him. And he's like so pleased about it.
It's like, well, what were you doing? I was holding him down.
You learned martial arts!
Just dipping a donut in milk. Like, I held him down.
Yeah, he's full psychopath. Lowe is in this. So Spader's finally had enough of him. He's like, where's my fucking shit? And he's like, I stashed it out by the oil fields. When he goes to get back all of his personal effects, well, first off, he sold all of his like appliances and furniture. He's like, I left you like your passport and wallet in this box out in this oil field. So he goes there and he finds a tape recording him of murdering Lisa Zane pretty brutally with a fucking golf club. That part was pretty raw. Like I didn't see it jumping to that level, but everything kind of escalates in this film as we go on. And this is where if we hadn't before, this is where we've definitely jumped the shark that this guy's 100% bad news. The part was pretty graphic too when he opens the locked bedroom where the corpse is and sees it. That was pretty brutal. And then this is kind of like the redemption part of bringing back the older brother. Kind of steps in for the rest of the movie. He's like, I need your help, man. It's kind of a role reversal. Like Spader's like little brother now fully like I don't know what to do. So I feel like Pismo mans up. What did you guys think of his arc?
Yeah, I was expecting him to be turned actually by Rob Lowe because of his like money issues. I thought he was going to betray his brother, and
that's a good call. They could have easily gone that way.
Yeah, he was okay. I guess I just thought.
I mean, he's a pretty pathetic character. I feel like for what he was able to do at his station in life was pretty fucking solid.
So I thought the turn was going to happen when Spader went to go after him with the gun, and his brother kept insisting, like, let me get the gun, and he took it from him. Like, why would you ever do that if you're going to confront somebody who's trying to kill you? Like, let me get that gun up from you.
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense to me either. It's like, no. Oh, yeah. Once he watches the movie, he realizes Rob Lowe's still in the apartment, and he has this fucking really evil chuckle, this weird laugh. And I guess part of the trivia, too, is I guess for Rob Lowe getting into character, he just watched a shit ton of film of Ted Bundy to, like, try to get into this character, which I was like, that'd probably do it.
I did like that he was still in the house, because when he was showing him, like, the video, I was like, well, this is obviously evidence that the other guy did it. So when he turns up in the house, fucks him up, and then takes it, like, all right, well, yeah, that does away with that.
Yeah. Yeah, just another part of his kind of like head games getting in his face. Oh yeah, this is one of my other favorite lines, and this is by way of Pismo when he comes to help Spader, talking about his relationship, this dark path that he's gone down with Rob Lowe.
It's just a matter of time. Get in bed with the devil sooner or later. You have to fuck.
Wasn't expecting that from Pismo. So yeah, he asks him for help, and this is the chance for Pismo to step up. And so they're wrapping up the body. They're getting rid of the murder weapon, which is a golf club. And it's still, even in this day and age, it's like, how do you do that without being fucking seen? Like dragging a body like down however many flights down, even using the elevator, but then you got to go into the parking garage. And then wouldn't you know it, there's a couple having a fucking fight.
A really funny fight if you actually listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's the woman's like, you fucked her. And he's like, no, I didn't. I just took it out. And she's like, that's the same.
That's so the same as cheating.
He just like pulled his dick out at someone, I guess.
The old Louis C.K.
Well, and then he's like, yeah, I fucked her once. And she's like, well, how can I trust you? And he's like, I told you I did. You wouldn't have known otherwise.
I mean, that's a good point.
Strong logic there.
The scene that really got me, and I took a fucking screenshot of this, and dude, where did I put it? Yeah, okay, I'm going to share my screen for you guys. I want to see if you guys picked up on this. So Spader's got the body, and he's in this parking garage waiting for this fucking,
Can I guess?
This fighting couple to go away, huh?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I had my cat on my lap, and when the dog fucking jumps up and barks,
yes,
it spooked us both.
But it was
his
Spader's
fucking face,
his reaction, this motherfucker. I was like, whoa, dude.
It's funny because it's a golden retriever. Just like the least
like that
scary
friendliest
dog.
Looking fucking dog. You know what this reminded me of, Steve? Can you guess? His abrupt reaction to this really friendly dog.
Yeah, I think so.
There was one time Steve and I used to work together, and we had.
You're such a fucking dumbass.
It was the end of the day, and we had like all kicked ass. Like that day, it was like a really good day at work, and like I was trying to be like Mr. Hype Man, like fucking like. I was like, yeah, everyone's like in line to get up to the time clock and punch out, you know. And I'm giving people high fives and shit.
And tired from a long day.
Excuse me. It was a very long day. It was a trying day. Everyone was tired. I'm giving people high fives, and Steve must have just been in his own universe, like thinking about the dinner or something, but he was somewhere else. And so I got to him in line, and I was like, hell yeah, Steve. And I like throw my hand up for a fucking like bro high five. And he gave this Spader expression. He was like, it was like a stroke happened. He was like, whoa, whoa, fucking. That's one of my favorite memories.
I know.
Just so you know.
It was silent, but it was like hard blanks.
Yeah. Yeah, it was inaudible screaming, just like Spader, just like, yeah, that's an all-timer. That's what that reminded me of instantly when I saw him make that face. I was like, I've seen that before.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, dog barks at Spader, makes the dumbest fucking face. Reminded me of Steve when I gave him a high five. So then we go, fortunately enough, they're pretty close proximity to the La Brea tar pits, which I only knew before this by way of The Last Action Hero, which in that film, it looks like actual fucking like thick ass viscous like oil. In this, it looked pretty watery. So I'm assuming this film has the better depiction, the more accurate depiction of what that shit looks like. But
actually, the other movie I was thinking of suggesting also that revolves around like the La Brea tar pits. So it's good times.
Last Action Hero?
No, Miracle Mile.
Who is in that?
Anthony Edwards and Mare Winningham.
Oh, okay.
Isn't
Yeah.
the tar pits in My Girl or My Girl 2? Wasn't there a My Girl 2?
It's in 2. Yeah, that's where she goes to LA and stays with her uncle for a little bit, and she pals around with the Macaulay Culkin
Analog.
stand-in. Yeah,
I can't say that I've seen My Girl 2.
it's good.
I don't
Both
know
My
if I
Girls.
have, but I must have, right?
Yeah, because the first one doesn't she doesn't go to LA. It's all in there.
Yeah, she
A
like
little
drops her
Midwest
mood
town or
ring or
whatever.
something. Anyway, yeah.
So they have the bright idea to dump the body in the tar pits, but wouldn't you know it, Rob Lowe has been following them the entire time, and it's like, wouldn't you know that though? Like at this point, like I feel like I would have gone way farther with the body or been like way more mindful of this fucker watching or being someplace. But at any rate, Spader goes back to his office and he notices the golf club, pristine, blood wiped off of it, sitting in the corner of his office. So he's like, oh, fuck. He knows. He's been following us. And then it looks like Rob Lowe also works right across the street from the La Brea tar pits because he looks out his window and there's like fucking 8 cop cars, ambulance, shit's going down. So he's like, oh, fuck. He reported the body. Problem I have here is, wouldn't you have to dredge that motherfucker? It's like he told him exactly where the body was. Maybe it didn't sink far enough, but I feel like they pinpointed that thing really fast.
Well, as my significant other would say, why don't you email the writers of the movie and tell them that?
God. Go to bed. Yeah. So that's a minor quabble I had. So then we go back, and I know what to do when you're being targeted for murder. Let's take huge bong rips. So that's what Pismo does. Also rocking like the fucking Will Byers bowl cut. A bowl cut. Spader's finally like, all right, I know what to do. I'll just kill him. We'll just close the loop here. So that's basically the third act, is him trying to figure out how to like take this guy out, because at this point he realizes he's not going to stop fucking with him, and that's just kind of what he has to deal with now.
They attempt to get his fingerprints.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? This is so half-cocked. And also you're going to send your brother, who's like, doesn't seem like he's up for this kind of
well, yeah, if this guy is so sophisticated that he's following you, he knows who your brother is, so he's going to recognize him just as easily, you would think.
Yeah, and he's got to be seeing him come from like a mile away, but I mean,
he actually didn't. That was the crazy part.
At all. And this guy sticks out like the sorest thumb at this place. Like, yeah, one of these things does not look like the other, but he actually ends up getting a good piece of intel on him. So he goes down and he's got a spot, and he notices Rob Lowe leaves his beer bottle. So, okay, there's our evidence. He grabs that, and fortunately enough, the gal that Lowe was sitting there with left her purse clutch with her driver's license facing out. So
yeah, and it was clear quite conveniently.
Yeah. And there was money. There was like $100 bill that you could clearly see too. Like no one's just gonna fucking lift that immediately.
Yeah, I thought that might be a little trap.
It could have been. Well, yeah, it was, because Lowe follows him back to his house, Pismo's apartment. So yeah, actually, I just watched this, so thinking about it that way, yeah, it must have been. But it's like, how would he know that he's going to come after him and all this? But whatever. He goes back, and this is where I thought, like, yeah, fucking, I mean, Pismo, he's able to fight this guy off, which, I mean, he shouldn't be able to, but
not really. He doesn't fight him off. At the end of it, he's hanging off of like a telephone pole about to die.
But think about where we begin. He fucking like bashes through his apartment and fucking he pushes him to the ground, like he knocks him out of the way. I think he drops his gun. I think, didn't Rob Lowe have a gun or a knife or something?
He had like
he's able to get away from
a fence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he saw him in the reflection of the window, and he was able to deflect the initial attack, and he fled, went the opposite way, avoided him. by
I feel
not
like
going through.
not dying is the bare minimum when it comes to fighting back. And that's really all he managed to do.
I still call that a win, man. I didn't think he had that in him like at all. I thought he would go down like, yeah, I thought he was going to die immediately. Like, oh, okay, he's going to take his brother out now. And then that's going to be the end game. Like Lowe versus Spader, final standoff. You killed my brother. But yeah, he's getting dangled out of the fire escape. Spader helps him. And while this is happening, what do you guys think of this part? The fucking DIY taillight bomb?
I thought it was pretty clever, but I feel like they spent way too much time making sure that we knew what would happen.
Yeah. I liked it.
Like how he ignites it like at the end, or he's like, push on the brakes now. I also thought it was weird too that Pismo was able to pick up on this and like identify that and say, don't touch the brakes. Like that's going to fucking send the signal to the gas tank and it's going to blow but
I feel like in real life, James Spader would be dead because when you yell stop and someone's in a car, your first reaction is to slam on the brakes, whether or not you're moving.
That's a good point. Yeah. So they foil that attempt.
As we're talking through this, I'm realizing how anti-Pismo I am.
Yeah, what do you got against this guy, man? He's just trying to help out his brother, gain some respect back. He does. I did read that they cut this part out in the international cut of the film because they didn't want people getting that idea to take someone out with this taillight bomb.
So only the international cut?
Yeah. In the U.S., they left it in, but everywhere else,
we have a pretty high murder rate comparatively. I feel like we're more likely to utilize that information.
Yeah.
Huh. So that makes me think this would actually work. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Spader, he gets the information from Pismo. He gets that address that was left on the table. So he goes to make a run on Lowe. He shows up and Lowe and his old lady are doing the dirty. And there's actually the other chick that he had his eye on, this blonde gal. So they're all in the bed doing the horizontal mambo, and Spader gets a jump at knife point while Lowe's out scoping the fridge, and then that's when we come full circle. Time is a flat circle of Spader hitting Lowe with the.
You make a very funny face when you come.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then he bitched out.
Yeah, he should have just fucking rammed that knife in his jugular right then and there.
Yeah, but he didn't really because it was a bait.
What do you mean?
To get him to chase him to get the confession on tape and all that. But at the time I was like, this guy's such a fucking bitch. Just gut him.
Do not come.
Oh, yeah, I put this note. So what's he do? He knocks the knife out of his hand or something. So Lowe's able to get away. So Spader books it because he's like, oh, fuck, I don't have him at knife point anymore. This guy can easily fucking kill me. So he starts running. He trips over this bag. The way he flails over this fucking railing, I had to rewind it 10 times. He looks, I don't even know how to describe it. It just, it looked like a rag doll, but it clearly wasn't. It looked like a human being, but just the way his legs fucking flail over the railing fucking really got me. That shit was hilarious. So then they run down to we get the final showdown in some dock area. And then they kind of talk back and forth, and Lowe's talking about how no one's innocent and all this dime store psychology, and then Spader just shoots him. And after the realization that Pismo's up on this little shanty thing with the fucking video camera, it's you get all that of him saying this is why
he gets him to admit that he was the one responsible for everything.
Right. Yeah. And it's oh, did you get that? And it's the brother's yeah.
And then fucks up and slips.
Yeah. Fuck him. So yeah, roll credits. What'd you guys think of this?
Bad Influence.
Bad Influence, 1990. We usually do that at the beginning. I totally missed that. Steve, what'd you think of this one?
I liked it a lot. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. I kind of had an emotional roller coaster back and forth because I knew it was a Chris recommendation, so I thought it would be good. And then the first few minutes, I was like, this looks shitty. I don't think I'm going to like it.
Well, historically,
does anybody want an espresso?
It's not like all of my picks have been slam dunks. I think it's just the last two with Navy SEALs and Orca. Before that, we had a rough go of it with King of New York and Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Pearls before swine, as they say.
It's one of Steve's favorite sayings.
Yeah, but I ended up actually really liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. I was like, this feels pretty rough, but yeah, I would say in that your disruptive stranger sub-subgenre, I feel like it's up there. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought to. So appreciate the rec, and yeah, I think my wife likes this kind of shit too. So
yeah, I definitely, when I saw this for the first time, just kind of watched it on a whim because I watched these sort of, I don't know, they're not like, it certainly was a Hollywood movie, but you read the description and you're like, that's a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of shit like that.
Right.
So my expectations were like, this is going to be a 2.5 out of 5, but I'm going to enjoy it. And then I just really liked it the first time I saw it. It was like my favorite movie that I had seen in quite some time. I guess I was on a dry spell. So then after that was when I did watch Pacific Heights for the first time and Consenting Adults for the first time.
Oh, wow. So you watched that after this?
Yeah, I still think I like this one more because it's more fun.
Yeah, Pacific Heights definitely has a more like menacing, serious tone to it, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, so I guess now that we're at the end, we kind of talked about it earlier. Do you guys think Rob Lowe had a motive, or like, what do you think was going on?
Steve, go ahead, shoot.
So at first I didn't think he had any motive other than just like a mark who came into his life that he could fuck with. But the more I thought about it, the only motive I could find was using his car. There were so many scenes. There were so many scenes where he talked about like when they met up early on. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll leave the keys under the seat, but we can't hang out anymore. And then he used his car later on for all the robberies. So other than just for love of the game, his car. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's as good a reason as any.
I mean, it goes to his kind of like, he's like this nomadic. He's just finding opportunities as they arise and is exploiting them. I guess I kind of stick by that, what I said earlier. Like, it's just crimes of opportunity kind of stuff.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that because at the end you find out that he meets James Spader while he's in the midst of like pulling a separate con on that woman that he's staying with in Manhattan Beach. So it is just like a crime of opportunity, but I don't think I think if James Spader would have been like super into it, they would like Rob Lowe would totally be fine with them just doing all this shit together. And like James Spader just sort of halfway bankrolling their escapades. I think if James Spader hadn't pushed back, they would have just been like best buds.
Right. It would have turned into like a buddy, like cop, like
an I love you, man.
Yeah.
A bro flick.
Yeah. He's lonely. Brian Regan.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
Since we just did it, have you ever seen Devil in a Blue Dress?
No.
Denzel?
Every time I hear the phrase, I just think of that movie Repossessed. Have you ever seen that? It's like a Leslie Nielsen like spoof movie about The Exorcist, and there's like a big musical number where they sing Devil in a Blue Dress.
Oh my God. It's awesome. I thought you were going to say Ghost Dad for some reason.
No.
Which, Bill Cosby aside, Ghost Dad's a fun movie. Did you guys have anything, final thoughts about this flick, or did you come with any kind of trivia or background on this one, Chris, before we move on?
No. I mean, how do you guys feel about James Spader? I think we talked about our thoughts on Rob Lowe, but any Spade heads out there?
I like James Spader.
I don't know him from anything other than The Blacklist.
I figured you would have seen Stargate.
No, you didn't.
No, I really think that seems, I mean, Kurt Russell, James Spader, Stargate.
Stargate's pretty badass.
I might have seen that because
it's in the sci-fi realm, though.
Yeah, but it's in my wheelhouse of like 96 to 98. I would have to imagine.
It was, I think Stargate's 94, but it feels like those kinds of movies.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I have.
I like Spader a lot. I've seen him in some older stuff. Like I said, I've seen Less Than Zero at a really young age, and he plays like a really creepy, like, I guess, villain in that film, and his name's Rip. He's a real fucking scumball. And I've seen Jack's Back, which I really like a lot, and he's in that. That's like 88. There's a couple other.
You ever seen
ones.
Crash, where he fucks a car?
I have not seen that, just because the description, it's like, it's a little too out there for me. I like David Cronenberg, but yeah, everything I've like every time I've seen like the description and the synopsis of it, I'm just like, that's not really my brand, I don't think. But
it's pretty fucking good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you would like it, but it's pretty good. If anyone can pull off a movie about that, it would be Cronenberg, and I think he did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that gal that did what's that movie?
Titane.
Isn't that pretty similar?
No, because that movie sucks.
Well, not similar in they're like a 1-to-1, but there's also car fucking that happens.
There's some automobile fetishism in that. I recently
saw. Gonna break if Logan hears this, you're gonna break her heart because she loves Titane.
Oh, that movie fucking sucks. I don't care.
Fuck it. That's what I love about you, Chris. Fucking no prisoners.
Well, hey, I mean, Logan's cool, but that movie sucks. I like a lot of things that suck too.
I know, just for fun.
Do not come.
I recently, like a week or two ago, watched this movie called Cocaine, One Man's Seduction, that is about like a real estate agent that starts doing coke to like keep up with the young bucks in the industry. Like he's not selling enough houses. And in that movie, James Spader is the guy's son, and he's like the all-American, like, I'm on the wrestling team, I'm varsity. Dad, you disappoint me when you do cocaine.
Oh my God.
What year is this from?
1983. And it also has Jeffrey Tambor in it as like another dude that gets strung out on coke.
Damn.
It's a good one.
Dad from Heavyweights. He fucking knocks out Tony Perkis. Didn't he have a run-in? He had some stuff happen, I think, too.
Basically,
recently,
from what I remember, was just like a huge piece of shit to all of his female co-stars in Arrested Development. Is my recollection of it.
Do not come. It comes in the morning. Yeah, I think Spader's pretty rad. I even liked him in the fucking The Watcher from 2000 where Keanu plays a fucking serial killer, a fucking serial strangler. Spader plays like a fucking strung out like Chicago detective that's like, it's like that's his fucking white whale is trying to get the serial killer played by Keanu. It's pretty shit, but it's an enjoyable shitty movie. Yeah.
Good times.
What's your favorite Spader flick? Go.
I mean, I probably just have to say this now, but prior to this, Stargate.
That's right. He is. I do like Stargate. He's pretty great in Stargate. call. I think I like him most in Jack's Back. I just like that movie a lot, but Let's see. Oh yeah, back to the the comment that we got for Basic Instinct was by user Mudalib-GR7MW. He or she said, Kenapa film Nia Tidak Semua, which is Indonesian, detected. English, why not all of the films? So I don't know if there's anything lost in translation.
It's a good question. You guys are fucking lazy. Why haven't you reviewed all of the films?
Why do you not have every film ever? I was thinking he may have seen the cover and it's, kind of disregarding the episode 52 at the beginning and seeing Basic Instinct 1992, that he was getting the whole movie. And so why not all the films? Like, why not the whole movie? Why not all the film? That's my assumption. So if you're a listener at Mudalib-GR7MW, if you could clarify, what do you mean by why not all
for fuck's sake
films?
I think my theory is that it was a 70-year-old woman with small hands who was just typed something into the keyboard that happened to translate into something coherent in Indonesian.
Dude, something must be going on with that Basic Instinct episode, because
it's an anomaly.
The watch count is way up for no reason. Doesn't make any sense. There must be
it's got to be the scantily clad Sharon Stone.
There is a computer somewhere broken that is just replaying it over and over.
Yeah,
which is why the count keeps going up. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh boy.
On my head?
God.
Are you a fan of Ruth's Chris?
I've never been there.
He's never been there. He's never been to Branson. I still haven't either. I need to get myself to one.
Why?
I just found out that there is one in Fort Wayne, downtown Fort Wayne. It's been here the whole time. So I gotta make a
cool.
I gotta make a sojourn out to Ruth's Chris's steakhouse. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Chris. Thanks for opening or broadening our horizons to Bad Influence. I liked it too. So we're calling that a yes on the old win streak.
Hell yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna break. No, we might get to the 88 mark. 88.3. Let's see. 88.1% approval rate. Bang. What do we got going next week? Next week, we'll be recording our Valentine's Day special that we'll release on Valentine's Day. We're going to be covering So I Married an Axe Murderer from 1993, starring Mike Myers. And we're going to have the whole trio of Ghoulish University, Logan, Naderade, and Thon will be on to discuss that one. So that should be a lot of fun. It's only on AMC Plus right now. Otherwise, it's a rental. So, yeah, if you've never seen it, super strong recommend. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't remember. Steve, have you seen So I Married an Axe Murderer or not?
No.
Fuck yes. You're in for a treat, brother. Chris, fan? No? Indifferent?
I think I've seen it because they used to play it on Comedy Central a lot.
Yeah.
Like in the early 2000s. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, it definitely had like the Top Gun TNT syndrome, like where it played for like a 15-year span, like 4 times a month or more. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think it's probably my favorite Mike Myers vehicle outside of Wayne's World.
And the Love Guru, of course.
Oh, Christ. I'm not the world's biggest Austin Powers fan. So, I mean, for me, the mountaintop is Wayne's World and Axe Murderer. So, I know you're Swedish made, Steve. So,
yeah, you better watch your mouth.
He looks like a baby. Cool. So, yeah, that's what we'll be talking about next week. So, check that one out. Stay tuned. If you want to reach out to us, you can do so at waxingtheporpoise.com. Hate mail, complaints, comments, concerns. Also, either of our socials. Instagram is at Waxing the Porpoise. Twitter, X is at Waxing the Porp.
Do not come.
You guys got any final thoughts for this film? Or oh fuck, God damn it, I do this every time when we have a fucking guest. I forgot to do it at the lead up, but do you want to tell listeners about Mount Molehill and where they can check it out, Chris?
Yeah, it's a podcast where I talk about Pancho's Mexican Buffet and Charlie Sheen and snuff films. You can check it out at Mount Molehill Podcast on Instagram and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hell yeah. Do yourself a favor, raise the fucking flag, and check out Mount Molehill because it's a goddamn national treasure. Steven?
I did pick out a Amazon review from a guy named Michael Bowl, which is also the name of the main character in this particular film. And he says...
Wait, so is his brother's name Pismo Bowl?
Yeah.
Bowl?
I cannot comment on that.
What a name.
But this gentleman gave it 1 out of 5 stars, and he says, well, my name is Michael Ball, and I have never seen this movie, but Rob Lowe is cool, and if I ever make a movie about my life, it will star Rob Lowe. So, very helpful.
Oh, man.
Sean, you're my same height. That is neat.
My name's actually Michael Bull. Yeah, well, good on you. You're a big fan of Rob Lowe. Sweet. That's not the first person I'd grab to want to make a movie with, but to each their own.
Baseball.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for listening. Leave us a like, review on Apple is great. Does help a lot. If you'd like.
Thanks, Chris, for coming on.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Always a pleasure.
Likewise.
And yeah, don't forget to check out Mount Molehill, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you when we see you, and we will see you later.
Where I come from, you don't blow no harp, you don't get no pussy.